It's just this is home, you know. I know I was born in Ohio, but I live here and I'll always be here. And these fans in this place, it means so much to me and my family, and always will. And I've always said that they're the best fans in all the sports, and I'll stick by that to the day I die. And to see all the signs and the jerseys and the towels, and to hear them cheer for me coming out of the tunnel, all that stuff, it just I don't know that I'll ever put it into words, and that's why I want to soak it. I wish I could bottle it and have it forever, but I will in here and in my mind.
Ben, did you get to the game ball?
I have no, he didn't, coach didn't like make an announcement or anything, but I'm sure it'll be in my locker.
Would that be your favorite game ball?
Probably. It's going to be up there. If not, it's special.
Special for sure. Oh, what a special night. That's good stuff. And I know we spent quite a bit of time this year talking about the Steelers' relative demise and Ben's decline, and should this be it for Ben? And I found myself, as I watched last night, being thankful, not just for the memories, but glad he came back for one more year, because I remember being here with you on this very program after last year's wild card loss. He couldn't go out like that. He couldn't go out sitting on the bench sad after one of the biggest statistical anomalies that I could ever recall from a quarterback. I think he had like 500 yards and 5 picks or some craziness against the Browns last year.
Yeah, it was not good. Against the Browns, right.
Yeah, he deserved to come back, and even though he wasn't consistently great this season, he had his moments. That was nice to see him get the proper send-off. I'm really glad he came back for another year. He deserved all the praise. He deserves all the flowers. You got any flowers you want to give to future first ballot Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it that way. Future first ballot Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger, because we tried this yesterday. I'm not going to say the name I used, the context. I'm just going to try it again. Yesterday I said somebody was the best wide receiver in Steelers history. We don't need to mention that name, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
And not yet. And you said, well, okay, maybe in terms of talent, but there's more to the story. But with Ben Roethlisberger, I'll say this. Terry Bradshaw has twice as many Super Bowl titles. Terry Bradshaw was a part of a 4-6 dynasty, 4 championships in 6 years with the Steelers, the legendary Steelers. The team was star-studded. Hall of Famers everywhere you look. You bump into a Hall of Famer. On the coaching staff, Hall of Famers, D-line, O-line, wide
Scouts.
Receivers, deep back, everybody, scouts, everybody.
Owners.
A Hall of Famer, right? But Ben Roethlisberger is the best quarterback in Pittsburgh Steelers history, with apologies to Terry Bradshaw. And I know what he meant to that franchise, and I know how important he was, but Roethlisberger was more consistent. Roethlisberger was more productive, doesn't have as many championships, but is a better quarterback. And I would say Roethlisberger really built, and I'm not trying to draw a divide between Bradshaw and Roethlisberger. By the way, I don't think they're that close. But I think Roethlisberger was able to build on what Bradshaw laid down in Pittsburgh. They like a certain kind of quarterback there. So it's not just numbers. You got to have some toughness to you. You got to have some grit to you. You got to be able to figure out how to relate to the fans. He said it's the best fan base in football. Yeah. But it's a fan base, and that's debatable. Everybody says that about their fan base. They really like them.
Yeah. There's an argument.
But you got to feel like, the fans have to feel like, okay, you can do things that they can't. Right, yeah, both. Yeah. That you can do things that they can't do, but when that's over, once you've done that superhuman thing, you got to be able to go to the South Side.
Yeah.
And have a drink or two with them and just really connect with them. And he's that guy all the way.
Well, a couple of things. Agree with you about his standing in Steelers history, even though he's got half the Super Bowls. I'd also say he's the best quarterback from the 2004 class, if that's still a debate. And I know Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls, and Phillip Rivers, I love me some Phillip Rivers, but the third guy taken in that draft turned out to be the best guy. And in no small part because of where he was drafted. It was a perfect fit. And he had the perfect nickname. I mean, Big Ben was just that. He was an institution. He's been one of the best quarterbacks of his generation. And he's been consistently good. It was a time not long ago when people wore pajamas and lived life slow that Ben Roethlisberger was. you kind of have to do that, right? You can't say once upon a time not long ago. You kind of have to finish it. When Ben Roethlisberger, he was one of those quarterbacks that you feared giving him the football with the game on the line. He's credited with 40 comebacks and 52 game-winning drives. Ben might have been blue collar, which you just described perfectly, Michael, as a graduate of Point Park College, now Point Park University. So you might you're like Ben Roethlisberger. You're like Ben Roethlisberger. You might be from Ohio, but you know Pittsburgh. Okay. You know, he might be blue collar, but the thing I loved about Ben, and I've known Ben since he was a rookie. I mean, I don't know him now. We drifted apart, but I was a young reporter at the old place right when he broke into the league in 2004. So I got to know him a little bit. I don't want to overstate it, but, you know, watching his career come to a close last night, it just kind of reminded me, A, how old I'm getting, and B, how long he's been at this game and how well he's played it at, and the high level that he's played it at for so long. But he may have been an institution. He may have been blue collar, but he was never boring. It was always interesting with Ben Roethlisberger, sometimes too interesting when it came to some of the franchise politics, some of the things he may have said, some of the drama, that sort of thing. But in terms of on the field, he's the most sacked quarterback in NFL history, which says a lot about his toughness. But he also, I mean, he held the ball longer than he probably should have. He pump faked like nobody ever has before or will since. He made plays where there were none, oftentimes. He was a magician in the pocket. He was, you know, much like, you know, his nickname's sake, he was practically impossible to bring down. And in his younger days, he had wheels. So
that's what I'm saying. It's almost like two different careers, too.
Yeah,
two different careers.
Yeah, man.
The first half,
he was just always fun.
Yeah.
He was fun to watch. He was fun to watch play. I enjoyed watching him play. I'm not saying he was as great as Brett Favre. I wouldn't rank him above Brett Favre, but there was a Brett Favre-like quality to the way that he played, to his style, that backyard style of play, you know?
And the other thing, Mike, you know, you made reference to it, like his accuracy and how he was able to, he'd sling it and he'd hang in the pocket. I don't know how I rank him. Let's say top 10. That's easy. I'll just say it's one of my top 10 Super Bowl moments. Just watching it.
Oh, Santonio Holmes?
Watching that throw to Santonio Holmes.
Oh, man.
Every time I watch
People don't talk about that enough.
I watch it, right. I say, okay, how did he get his feet down? One, how did Santonio get his feet down? And how did Ben find him? How did he thread that needle? If you just go back and you watch that throw, everything had to be perfect. I think that may have been. I don't know if Santonio said it then or if I'm just taking this out of context. Isn't that the quote where Santonio says, "This is how you be great. This is how you be great." You know, the NFL films. And that maybe was a different game, but I just kind of conflate those two. That's Ben Roethlisberger at his best. At times, he really could slice you. I think of him, as you're describing, early Ben Roethlisberger, when he takes over, the plan, there it is. Look at this throw.
Pow.
Oh, okay. What? I think there was a review on that, too. There was a review on that.
I mean, Ben could sling that thing with the best of them. I mean, Santonio Holmes, great catch, but we're talking about the guy who threw it. He could sling that thing with the best of them. And he just evolved. His style of play evolved over the years. He could frustrate. I know there are plenty of Steelers fans who were frustrated at various times with him over the years. There are plenty of members of the organization who were frustrated with him at various times over the years.
Yeah.
But now that we're saying goodbye, now that he's getting his flowers.
Because he ran it.
I think everybody.
For a while, he ran it. He was like the shadow general manager at times.
Yeah, but I think now that he's saying his goodbye, I think everybody, look, the season, it's probably over after next week. I think everybody can step back and say, hey, man, thanks for the memories. It was a fun run. If nothing else, it was interesting.
Okay.
It's always fun.
But, okay, I know we're doing this. We're doing this, thanks for the memories. And I'm going to say one more point, then I'm going to ask you a question. All right,
okay.
So
and we'll go to break after that.
That early Ben Roethlisberger, he wasn't supposed to get going in 2004. That was not the plan. The plan was Tommy Maddox was supposed to start. Maddox was mad. He was mad at Bill Cowher for drafting him. They had a little confrontation. Hey, man, you told me I was a quarterback. How you doing? How you going to draft this dude in the first round? And Cowher was like, mind your business. Let me coach. You be the quarterback. But it still was going to be Maddox in 04. It was going to be Batch backing him up. And then Ben was supposed to redshirt. Well, Maddox got hurt. Charlie Batch got hurt. And now they were stuck with Ben, stuck with him, and then they went on a run.
And at the time, he had the greatest rookie season, arguably of any quarterback in NFL history, definitely since Marino in '83.
Just kept winning. Just kept winning games.
Yeah.
Give it to Ben. They kept winning. Defense make a play. Running, Jerome Bettis would make a play.
Willie Parker.
And then sometimes Heinz Ward, and sometimes Ben would make plays. But we're doing this right now. We're saying thanks for the memories and how great he was. Won 2 Super Bowl titles and set a bunch of team records. Should he be leaving? I'm not talking about leaving Pittsburgh. Should he be leaving the game? Or is it just...
I think so.
Do we need to go back old school and say, isn't it nice to have one quarterback with one team? Even though Joe Montana didn't do it, Joe Namath didn't do it, and Peyton Manning didn't do it, Brett Favre didn't do it.
I think it's case by case. I think it's case by case. In all those instances, in most of the names you just mentioned, whether it was Favre, Montana, or Manning, there was a guy waiting, ready to play, and the incumbent or the older guy, the predecessor, still had. Well, he had not only had to go, but he had something left.
Yeah, something left. You don't think Ben has anything left?
He has enough left to call it a night. Enough left to call it quits. Like, my wife hates that I always have my gas tank, like my light comes on before I get gas. Ben is like not a quarter tank, but like three, like just
above a quarter. Just above a quarter.
No, not a quarter. Like between a quarter and a half a tank of gas. Go ahead and pull in, put it in park, leave before you actually do suck. He doesn't suck. He's not great anymore, but he doesn't suck. It's a great time to go. It's a great time to go.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.